Hello class, in this video we're going to look at taking this satellite image we saved out all nicely in the previous video and take it into Autocad and scale it to prep it for our Illustrator diagramming. So what I'm going to do is I've already opened AutoCAD. I'm going to start a new, and the first thing I'm going to do, because I'm an architect, I like to work in feet and inches, so I'm going to change my unit. So I'm going to type in UNITS and change this top bar to architecture and say OK. I'm going to go to, you'll probably be at the Home tab here by default, so I'm going to go to the Insert tab and then Attach, and I'm going to find where I save that image, which is here. I have it in this folder. I just called it SAT, as I mentioned. And I'm just going to specify the scale on screen and the insertion point on screen. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to say OK. And I'm just going to click anywhere on the screen, and I can scale it. At this point, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to put it in at whatever scale it comes in at, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to scale it to full scale, which is how you always work in AutoCAD. And the reality is, well, this video series is focused on diagramming in Illustrator, and that will be at a particular scale that whatever you decide to do it at. The diagramming is just the first step to designing the project, and ultimately you're going to design it partially in AutoCAD, perhaps to scale or some other software. So this will be useful to sort of work on the next phase as well by keeping it to full scale as you would need to work. So to scale it, I have to use the scale reference command, which is not something a lot of people know. It takes a few steps, so just pay close attention to everything I'm doing. I'm going to start by drawing a line. You don't actually have to do this, but I find people who are new to it get done easily when they draw a couple lines. So I'm taking my cursor right over the first part of this scale that was in the Google Earth view that I had you turned on, and I'm just going to draw a line straight down right from the center point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this line now, and I'm going to copy it over to the end point of the scale. Right? So again, you can do that without these two lines, but it's easier to give us these snap points. So I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Scale. You can type in the shortcut, but if you don't know what it is, it'll be right here on your screen. And I'm going to select everything going right to left for my satellite image in those two lines, and I'm going to push Enter. Now I'm going to hit this first line as my base point right down here. We can see my endpoint snap is on. I'm going to click it. Now what I'm going to do is hit R on my keyboard for reference. We can see that little blue R there for reference. So I'm going to hit R, Enter, and I'm going to specify the scale of this. So I'm going to click that same exact base point again, and then I'm going to click the opposite end, this endpoint on the opposite line over here, and click that. I'm going to pull my cursor over, and then I'm going to type in whatever this distance is on the satellite. So yours isn't necessarily going to be the same. Mine happens to be 808 feet. Whatever that number is, you type that in, 808. Don't forget the foot mark since I changed it to inches, and I press Enter. And now we can see that it looks the same, but it's scaled to full scale. And if I just did something like distance over top of these two lengths, we can see that indeed it is 808 feet long. So I got the satellite image at full scale. And I would go ahead for you and save this somewhere safe, because again, you might use this later on in the project. But for Illustrator, what we're going to do is we're going to print a PDF of this to scale, which again, you can see some other videos I've done. I always say the best way to go, usually like 99% of the time, to go from AutoCAD to Illustrator is to print a PDF. We're going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to go to Print. I'm going to change my printer name to Adobe PDF, and I think I'm just going to set 11 by 17. Obviously the paper size can be dependent on your project, but I like working with 11 by 17. I'm going to go Window just to select the image, and if you don't want the Google Earth to be in there, you just don't go down that low in the image. Now the thing is, I want to get this to scale. The easy way to do that is to uncheck Fit to Scale and then type in the scale you want. Now I know the images I'm working with in the demonstration, they were done at 200 feet, 1 inch equals 200 feet. So a lot of times students get this messed up. They want to go to 1 to 200 up here, or 1 to 100. That's 1 to 100 inches, not 1 to 100 feet. You have to type it in. It's pretty simple. So at 1 inch to equal 200, and again, I need that foot mark to make this work. And we can see my image is going to be off the screen a little bit, it looks like, but you know what, it's capturing enough of what I want for the demonstration, so I'll go with it. I'll just say exit here. You could say plot, and I'll just say OK here. It's going to tell you where do you want to save this, and I will save this wherever. I'll call it sat at 200 scale or something like that. and I can hit save, and it'll just take a second to generate a PDF here of this. Here we go, there it goes. Computer's running a little slow, I feel like, but that's okay. Should happen quite soon. What you'll see is when it's done is it'll automatically pull up this PDF. And here it comes right here. So there it is. It's turned sideways. We'll take care of that in Illustrator, but the important thing is that I have this perfectly to 200 scale, and you should always work at scale. So I'll end this video here. In the next one, we'll look at how to place this satellite image into Illustrator.